All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into what's on the horizon with GPT-5 and why some people are calling it a fundamental shift in AI as we know it. We're talking a story of huge ambition, some pretty massive setbacks, and ultimately, the promise of a completely new kind of artificial intelligence. And this quote from OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, really gets to the heart of the problem. You know how today's AI can feel a little clunky? You've got different models for different tasks, and you're always switching between them. Well, the whole goal for GPT-5 is to just get rid of all that complexity and deliver what he calls a single, seamless, magic intelligence. Okay, so to really get where we're going, first, we've got to understand the limits of where we are right now. Because the last generation of AI, it really marked the end of an era, the end of a very specific strategy in AI development. So this slide perfectly shows the core conflict OpenAI was staring down. On one side, you've got this brute force giant, think GPT 4.5, just massive, packed with deep world knowledge. But on the other side, you have these smaller, more specialized, careful thinkers. And here's the crazy part. When it came to really tough logic puzzles or complex math, the smaller, careful thinker was actually winning. That had to be a wake-up call. So you can see what happened, right? OpenAI had this huge realization. Their old approach of just making models bigger and bigger and feeding them more and more data, well, it was hitting a wall. The gains were just leveling off. It was obvious that it was time for a completely different strategy. And that realization is what led to OpenAI's new solution, this idea of a magic AI. The plan wasn't just another small upgrade. No, this was a whole new architecture, designed from the ground up to combine the absolute best of both worlds, that brute force knowledge and that careful step-by-step reasoning. Now, the key to unlocking this new intelligence is something called chain-of-thought reasoning. And you can think of it like this. Instead of just blurting out an answer, the AI actually breaks a problem down. It works through it step-by-step, internally, almost like it's showing its work on a tough math problem. And this one change, it dramatically improves its accuracy on those really complex tasks. So what does this actually mean for you, the user? Well, it should be totally seamless. GPT-5 is being designed to look at your request and decide for itself, okay, does this need a quick, fast answer, or do I need to kick in that slower, deeper thinking process? And the best part is it all happens behind the scenes. So you just get one single unified and hopefully a much, much smarter response. But let me tell you, creating this magic intelligence has been anything but easy. The journey to GPT-5, it's been a really rocky road. We're talking major setbacks, absolutely enormous costs, and just a constant battle against one unexpected problem after another. Yeah, and this timeline really shows just how difficult that journey has been. There was this early training run, codenamed Orion, that was reportedly way too slow, and the results were, well, pretty underwhelming. And then later, they'd kick off this massive training effort, only to discover halfway through that their data wasn't even diverse enough. They had to scramble for a fix. It's just been one snag after another. And this number, this really puts the sheer scale of that ambition into perspective. According to the leaks, a single major attempt to train GPT-5 could cost $500 million, just in computing power. And if you remember that timeline we just saw, they reportedly had to try this multiple times, discovering new and very expensive problems with every single attempt. And on top of all that, here's one of the biggest obstacles they ran smack into, something people are calling the data wall. See, after training GPT-4 on something like 13 trillion tokens, and you can think of tokens as just pieces of words, they had basically used up all the high-quality data on the public internet. It was gone. To get smarter, the AI needed more knowledge, but there was literally nothing left to read. This forced them to start creating their own synthetic data, just to keep pushing things forward. Okay, so after all that struggle, what's the actual payoff for us? What is GPT-5 gonna do? Assuming they've finally ironed out all those kinks, here are the concrete features we can probably expect. While the biggest promised change is this concept of the Omni-model. The whole idea is that you can seamlessly switch between typing a question, speaking to it, showing it an image to analyze, or even asking it to watch a video clip. And you can do it all within one single continuous conversation. No more switching apps or modes. Another absolutely huge leap is its working memory, what the experts call the context window. As you can see on this chart, older models could handle maybe 128,000 tokens of information. But competitors like Google's Gemini are already pushing into the millions. So GPT-5 is expected to match or even beat that. And that's the difference between, say, analyzing a long article versus analyzing an entire book or a massive research project, all without losing track of a single detail. And it's also expected to just supercharge features we're already kind of familiar with. For example, it could become way more autonomous, proactively offering to browse the web for you or analyze some data. Its memory could get much, much deeper, remembering personal details across different conversations. And those collaborative tools, they could become so much more powerful, turning the AI into a true creative partner. So all this power, all this new flexibility, it naturally leads to the ultimate question. The big one that everyone in the AI world is asking, is this finally AGI? Is this really the moment? Is a system that can reason and create and collaborate across pretty much any medium, is that truly artificial general intelligence? You know, AGI, an AI that can perform any intellectual task that a human being can. Well, the answer is it's nuanced. If you're going by this strict technical definition, then no. GPT-5 won't be self-aware. It's not going to have its own goals. But this table highlights a really fascinating idea, this concept of user-felt AGI. For the average person, its incredible competence might just make it feel like AGI. It's not a self-aware being, no, but it's a hyper-intelligent tool that can do almost anything you ask of it. So here's the bottom line. While it might not be AGI on paper, GPT-5 represents a truly monumental leap forward. Look, this isn't just another chapter in the story of AI. This could be the moment AI transforms from just a helpful chatbot into a genuinely capable partner woven right into the fabric of our daily lives. So the real question then isn't whether it's technically AGI, but whether we're ready for what comes next.